So I'll let you go. I don't think it's going to matter to the court because if a child's withheld against a court order, I don't know that that's a civil matter, but I'll let you have your definition. Go for it.
How long, when did you start working in law enforcement?
The last one.
That's the last one.
Okay, here we go.
See that? Very official.
Self-authenticated.
Is that? I'm not sure.
Ready? Court does call the case of the people of the state of Michigan versus Lovely.
I think you would, good afternoon, Jonathan Lemons on behalf of the people.
And Kenneth Overwater, Assistant Public Defender on behalf of Ms. Lovely, who stands to my right in court.
Okay, thank you. We're ready to proceed to exam.
Defense is ready.
People are ready to proceed in this matter. My understanding is that there's also some kind of a violation hearing. Did you want to do the exam and then kind of do everything all at once, or however?
Yes.
you want to proceed? Perfect.
That's
Not that there's anybody else left. I'm going to call my first witness is going to be Corey Johnson, but I have the officer in charge, Dusty Patel, also here with us today.
all right. Sir, please come forward. Be sworn.
I swear our firm testimony you're about to give, the truth, the truth, and nothing but the truth. State your spelling for some of the record.
George, I think. All right, go. You may inquire.
Yeah, thank you. And good morning, Mr. John, or good afternoon, Mr. Johnson. Thank you for being here today. Just to kind of get right into it. With the court's permission, there's a child involved here. I'm just gonna refer to it as the child so that I'm not putting his name.
That is fine.
And likewise, if defense could. Do you have a son?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and who is the mother of that child?
Defendant.
Okay, and just identify her. Okay, and is that somebody who you see here in the courtroom today? And how do you know Miss Lovely?
She's an white.
Okay, and you guys are obviously divorced then?
Yeah.
When was that divorce, when did that become effective?
2019.
Okay, and as such, out of that divorce proceeding, was there a custody arrangement that was entered into regarding your child
Yes.
in September of 2022?
Yes.
Can you briefly tell us what the terms of that arrangement were?
Yes. We each had 50-50 custody, joint custody, and then we did our exchanges on Fridays.
Okay, and so is that one parent would drop them off at school, the other parent would then pick them up?
Yes. You complete your week by dropping them off on Friday, then the other parent would start their week picking them up.
Okay, so I want to fast forward to Thursday of I'm sorry, February of 2023. Did anything change regarding that arrangement, that custody arrangement?
Yes, that the first week of February, I would have had custody of my son, and I was contacted by investigating the complaints that she had made against me. They turned out to be false. So, I believe it was like the 6th. They contacted me and they said, we're going to go back to normal custody. We advised her to continue like you should be, dropping him off at school, and I would pick him up, et cetera. And that never happened.
Okay.
He was never returned.
So February 6th of 2023, I believe that was a Monday.
A Monday or Tuesday.
Okay. You were supposed to have the child on what day? That Friday, so roughly the 3rd. I looked at a calendar earlier.
Yeah, I have to look at it.
Okay.
Well, hold on. I just want to make sure. On the 3rd, would have been your pickup, the beginning of your custody.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And then that should have terminated with you dropping the child off on the 10th.
Yeah, Friday.
Okay.
Whatever the Fridays were. Got it.
All right. And so then now turning to the 6th of February, CPS gives you the okay to resume your pickup. Do you have any interaction with the defendant regarding the child exchange on the 6th?
Yeah, she contacted me on our family wizard.
Okay.
Told me she was not returning.
Okay. Prior to February 6th, had you been observing her social media feeds?
Yes.
Okay. And did you have any concerns about what the defendant was going to do with herself and the child?
Objection, Your Honor, as to the relevance of what's on her, allegedly on her social media feed, certainly with regard to what he may have speculated he was worried about her doing.
Well, but that goes to his state of mind as to everything. I'll overrule the objection. I'll hear it.
Go ahead. Yeah. So had you been kind of monitoring her social media?
Yes, I was concerned that she was going to take out of state.
Okay. With a specific destination?
New York, that's all I knew.
Okay. And so did you share those concerns that you had with the defendant at all?
Yes, I told her that would be a violation. We were required to provide an itinerary in front of work, and that never happened.
Okay.
I verified that with Sarah Mazer. She said they hadn't received an itinerary, and that what she provided wasn't appropriate.
Okay. So on the 6th, obviously the child does not return to your care.
Right.
Okay. What happens then on the 7th?
I contacted and law enforcement referenced the issue. A order was filled out and sent to the judge by a friend of court to pick my son up and return him to me. That was signed by Judge O'Brien.
Okay. Did you anticipate that you were going to be able to pick up your child from school that day?
Yeah,
Okay. Did you reach out to the school at all?
I did, and they told me that he hadn't been brought that day.
Okay.
I think he said it was like mental health or something like that.
You obviously didn't excuse him. Okay. Okay. All right. The order, when you contacted a friend of the court, were you able to receive a copy of the order from friend of the court?
I did.
Okay. I'm going to approach with what's been marked as people's proposed exhibit number 1. If I may, Your Honor.
Yes, you may.
All right, Mr. Johnson, that exhibit that I've handed you, you've had an opportunity to review that before testifying today?
Yes.
And is that something that you're familiar with?
Yes, this is the order that they sent to the judge. That she's trying to pick up.
Okay. And is that a fair and accurate copy of the order that was submitted and signed by Judge O'Brien at the 22nd Circuit Court?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
And that's the order. What was that order informing what was supposed to happen with the child?
I believe, let me read it just to clarify. Says that she's supposed to return to me immediately and not leave the state of Michigan.
Okay. Your Honor, unless there's any objection or voir dire on the issue, I'm going to move to admit people's proposed exhibit number 1.
No objection for purposes of exam.
Exhibit 1 is admitted.
Did the court want to review that?
Yeah, I'll say.
Thank you.
Thank you. Standard order. Okay. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. So now turning your attention then, so that February 7th, that order gets signed. You said that you contacted police. What agency did you contact?
I contacted Northfield Township, and I believe it was a detective that called me back. He called me back.
Okay.
I sent him that document that I had by email, and then he basically said because of the multi-jurisdictional thing that he was going to forward it to the state police.
Okay. And as such, did you end up later that day speaking to Trooper Pitzel?
Pencil.
Pitzel.
I did.
It rolls off the tongue. Pitzel. Okay, all right. And where did you speak to him at? Where did he come to your house?
No.
Okay, you spoke to him over the phone. Did he? Well, you kind of explained the situation to him as best you could. Okay, all right. Moving forward to Friday the 10th, had you received custody of your child by the 10th?
No.
Okay. Then moving forward to the 13th, that Monday, February 13th, by that point in time, had you received custody of your child? Okay. And it's your understanding that pursuant to the order, the child was supposed to remain in your care until further order of the court. Okay. All right. So then tell me what happens on the 14th of February. Had you on the 14th of February, so this is Tuesday, had you received custody of your child? Okay. So what did you do or what happened in terms of that custody arrangement?
And contacted front court and law enforcement and advised them that at that point she wasn't even in Michigan anymore. I
Objection, Your Honor, foundation as to where she was.
I can, if it,
Well, he is, as I understand his statement, whether it's true or not, that's what he's indicating. So there may not be foundation for what it is, and the court will give it whatever weight I give that statement, but I'm going to overrule the objection. Go ahead.
thank you. Go ahead. So I'm sorry, you reached out to friend of the court. You gave them some information.
Yes,
What happened as a result of that information?
they submitted another order to the judge. And this was for her, this was terminating her parental rights, and she had until the 24th. It's an ultimatum that she had to return them to the front court by then. That was the latest, but it was to immediately do that.
The 24th of February.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And if I may approach with people's proposed exhibit number 2. The 14th.
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, you've been handed what's been marked as people's proposed exhibit number 2. We just talked about the court order, the document in front of you. Do you recognize that item?
Yes.
Likewise, did you have an opportunity to view that before testifying in court today?
I have.
Okay. And is that a fair and accurate copy of the order that was submitted and signed by Judge O'Brien on the 14th of February of this year?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And unless there's any objection or voir dire on the issue, I'm going to move to admit people's proposed exhibit number 2.
No objection for exam purposes, Judge.
Exhibit 2 is admitted.
All right. So then this order gets signed without telling me what you spoke to. Had you been communicating back and forth with the trooper during this period of time? Okay.
He advised the contact.
Well, don't tell me what he told you. I just want to know if there was still that communication. Okay.
Keep me updated on the status of it.
And had you been communicating with the defendant at all, sending either via Family Wizard or otherwise?
You know, I sent her a message stating that I was contacting the authorities. She didn't return my child.
Did she ever respond in any kind of way? Okay. All right. So then to finish this up, when was the next time you actually received custody of your child?
I called the school Wednesday or Thursday. It was like 16th, I think, that week. And they said he was there, that he'd been dropped off. And so I told them that I would be there early to pick him up. And I had to order, I gave them a copy of that. And so they were aware that I had custody of him.
Okay. All right. And that was February, you believe, 16th, 2003, Thursday. Okay. And again, at that point in time, to the best of your knowledge, between February, well, I guess 6th and February 24th, so this is after communicating with CPS, to I'm sorry, February 16th. It was the defendant that was the only barrier between you and having custody of your child. Okay. there was no communication that he was missing or anything to that extent. And in fact, had you spoken to your son during that intervening period of time?
Not allowed to have a phone call with him, just the one.
Okay. You had one phone conversation with him? You recognized his voice? Okay. All right. And I guess, how old is your child? Okay. So he doesn't, he may, I guess, but does he have a phone? Okay. So when you spoke to him,
Yes.
how did you get in contact with him?
We are required to call each other's cell phone.
Okay.
So I call her Alante cell phone.
Okay. And so you called the defendant's cell phone and you were able to speak to his son.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Your Honor, with that, I don't have any other questions for this witness.
All right. Before you begin cross-examination, I just want to clarify one thing. The first order, sir, that was signed on by Judge O'Brien on the 7th, there was an indication that the child was to be returned to you, that your understanding was that the child was supposed to be returned and remain in your custody.
Yeah.
As I'm reading this,
Go back to 50-50, our regular agreement.
okay,
I think
that's fair. And if I'm counting out the dates, had the child would not have been returned to you really until the 14th, right? If I've got it.
that week. 'Cause I was supposed to have him that first week, but the 3rd.
Correct. So you would have the 3rd basically through the 9th.
Yeah.
Right? Then the defendant would have the 10th through the 13th. And then your next time would have been the 14th and beyond,
The 17th.
or the 7th.
Yeah, whatever that Friday would have been.
Yes, the 17th and beyond, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess, okay, so here's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm looking at this order and I'll let you see it again, the order of February 7th. And it indicates that they're ordered to immediately return the minor child to defendant's father custody care and so on. Had that order been effectuated on the 7th, you would have then had the child from the 7th to what, the 10th?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what didn't happen. Okay.
I didn't get him on the 3rd. I didn't have him, he was never returned. I never got him that week at all.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is the time, I don't know really what I'm saying. What I'm indicating is you didn't get the child on the 3rd. The order to return the child to you signed the 7th. But if everything were to go back, really, there's like 3 days from the time of the order that it didn't happen. I mean, from the time of these orders, right? 3 or 4 days. Okay. The week then of, oh, let me just stop there for a moment. Because one of the questions the prosecutor asked you then is, on that order, that the child was to remain in your custody. That's not quite correct. On the 7th, is that right?
I believe she's supposed to be returned to me so we can continue our parenting time.
Okay, so, okay, that's something different. That's what I'm trying to figure out. On the 7th, the judge is ordering that the child be returned to you as though this interruption had not occurred. And then it would go back to the normal schedule, right? So from the 10th to the 17th, the defendant would have had primary possession of the child at that point, not really custody, but possession.
Yeah.
What interrupts that, though, is then the order of the 14th, which then says, and this may have, I just want to be clear on it because it may be what you were talking about, the 14th order. That order doesn't, as I'm reading it, isn't now referencing the parenting time. That order is saying this child goes to the father. That's it, until the court says otherwise. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Pardon?
That's how friend of court explained it to me as well.
I probably did a better job though, right?
You did.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. No, it's okay. All right. Cross-examination.
Judge, if I could just have a moment.
Yeah.
May I receive the exhibits?
Happen.
Mr. Johnson, are you currently employed? How?
I work at Diablo.
You do what?
I work at Little Diablo Salsa in the morning.
Little Diablo Salsa. Were you previously employed as in law enforcement? When were you employed in law enforcement?
In 19.
How long were you in law enforcement prior to that?
Your Honor, I guess I'm going to object to the relevance of the question.
What is the relevance?
Judge, if I'm allowed to understand his involvement with law enforcement, it might explain why he chose to involve law enforcement in this in order to deal with what is a civil matter.
I don't know. I'll let you go. I don't think it's going to matter to the court because if a child's withheld against a court order, I don't know that that's a civil matter, but I'll let you have your definition. Go for it.
How long, when did you start working in law enforcement? And where did you work?
Police department. I worked for Amber Township, Northfield Township, and shortly, a little short stay at like the Golden Stockbridge. And reserve work.
Prior to the reserve work, you, Northfield, Hamburg, and Pinckney, you were working there as a police officer? Would you describe this, the child custody arrangement in the course of your divorce as contentious?
Somewhat, yeah.
And this all started when Ms. Lovely filed a Child Protective Services complaint against you, correct?
And what else?
This particular incident.
Yes,
When did that happen?
I believe it was beginning of February. Amanda Moore contacted me from CPS in Oakland County.
So early February, CPS contacted you, indicated that an investigation was being started. And you were told that it was based on allegations made by Ms. Lovely.
Yes.
And you said, you testified that investigation was closed.
Yes.
When did that happen?
I think that was the 6th.
And how were you made aware of that?
I spoke to Amanda Moore, the investigator.
On February 6th or February 7th, you said you contacted a friend of the court.
Yeah.
Did you also file an ex parte motion and that motion was denied, correct?
Yes, because they authorized the other one, that front of court.
But you filed a motion and that motion was denied.
Yes.
Okay.
An ex parte motion. What?
That was an ex parte motion to compel your parenting time, correct? Judge, I have no further questions.
I don't have any redirect.
All right, you may step down. Thank you. Any additional witnesses for the people?
I'm gonna call the trooper. And
Sir, please come forward to be sworn.
Last name?
I am Trooper Dustin Peaksall. Going to spell it too.
Yes,
Okay,
okay.
that's P-I-T, Susan Charlie, yeah.
Why is that so hard, Mr. Emmons?
You just,
And I just noticed that when you called him to the stand, you
Yeah,
Use the last name. You just used
I
his
asked-
title. Okay, I'm just saying.
you're on to my
I was-
ways.
I was paying attention, but go ahead. You may inquire.
thank you. Trooper Peaksall, thank you for being here today. I want to turn your attention. How long have you been employed with the Michigan State Police? Thank you. Were you employed in that capacity early February of 2023?
yes,
Did you become involved in incident between a custody issue between Alante Lovely and Corey Johnston?
yes.
Thank you. Who did you first, or how did you first get involved in this information? And again, I would respect it to the extent that you have to refer to the child, just refer to it as the child.
At first, I was dispatched to an assistant agency. I was for my dispatch notice, I was advised to contact, Detective Buxton, I believe his name was.
Thank you. And I think that's Buxton.
That's correct. Township Police Department. I contacted him and he advised me of the dispute that we're here for today.
Okay. We had some testimony earlier about the court order. As a result of that communication with the Detective Buxton, were you able to receive some kind of court order in some kind of way?
Yes, he forwarded the email to me and I was able to review and see the court order as well.
Okay. After speaking to the detective, based on the information that he gave you, you have a telephone conversation with Johnston?
Yes,
Okay. Did you get some line information from him?
a little bit more information, what Detective Buxton was able to provide.
Now you have the information from the Northfield Township Police as well as from Mr. Johnston. What was your next step of your investigation to assist with this situation?
My next step was to make contact with Miss Lovely and I guess attempt to persuade her to comply with the court order.
Okay. And did you do that?
Yes, I did.
Where did you speak with Miss Lovely?
I spoke with her at her residence in South Line.
Okay. And for all intents and purposes, that's I think there's a small part of South Lyon that's in Washtenaw County, but her residence is in the Oakland part.
Correct, it is in Oakland.
Okay. And is the defendant, is that somebody who you see in the courtroom today?
Yes,
Just need you to point to her and tell us what she's wearing.
it's the female with a kind of white shirt with flowers on it,
Thank you.
more kind of beige.
And for the record, Your Honor, the witness has identified the defendant.
And record shall so reflect without objection.
And thank you. Did you have a conversation with the defendant?
Yes, it did.
And did you talk about the court order?
This is the turning point of the entire case. Once law enforcement personally serves or explains a court order and the person acknowledges they understand it, continuing to ignore that order becomes much harder to frame as confusion or misunderstanding. According to this trooper, the defendant didn't just hesitate. She allegedly flat out said she would not return the child. Then, when questioned again days later, she reportedly challenged whether the court order was even real. If true, that is a massive problem for the defense because prosecutors can now argue this was knowing, intentional defiance, not accidental non-compliance. And the fact that the officer went the extra mile to verify the order directly with the court That closes off one of the most common excuses. Be honest. If someone ignores a judge after police verify the paperwork, do you think that crosses the line from custody dispute into criminal conduct?
I discussed it with her. We talked through it together, yes.
Okay, and what was her response in regards to you showing her this order that she's supposed to return the child?
She advised me that she would not return the child.
Okay. When she advised that she wasn't going to return the child, what did you do?
I told her I would be in contact with her within 24 hours. And to confirm whether she would return or not return the child.
Okay. Did you inform her of maybe some of the consequences of not returning the child?
Yes, I did. I informed her that if she failed to return the child within 24 hours, that charges would be sent up against her.
Okay. Did she in some way show some kind of acknowledgement that she understood what you were saying?
Yes.
Okay. So then, did you follow up with the parties at some point in time later?
Yes, on February 10th, I called Mr. Johnson again to confirm whether his son or whether the child had been and he advised me he had not been returned.
Okay. And so, based on the information that you got from Mr. Johnson, did you then speak to Miss Lovely again?
Yes.
And what did Miss Lovely tell you about that?
Miss Lovely told me that she once again did not return the child and that she questioned the validity of the court document that I provided her.
Okay. When she questioned the validity of the court document, did you offer to do anything for her?
I did, yes.
Okay. And what was that?
I offered to, I believe that was a Friday night, courts were closed. I told her, hey, I'll go down to the 22nd Circuit Court as well and confirm that this is indeed a valid document to prove to her that yes, this is a valid document.
Okay. And did you do that? Did you follow up with the 22nd Circuit Court?
Yes.
Okay. Did you get some kind of confirmation about the validity of the document?
Yes, I had spoken to one of the clerks, I believe her name was Miss Thompson, and she confirmed that that document was signed on the 7th by the judge's name is spacing right on my mind here, but
Judge O'Brien?
Judge O'Brien, thank
Thank
you. And she confirmed that that was a valid document.
Okay. And did you then relay that information to Miss Lovely?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So you've now told her about it on the 7th, gave her to the 10th to comply, and then on the 13th tell her that it's a real court order. What was her response to you in regards to that information?
Once again, she told me she was refusing to return the child, and after a brief few words, she hung up on me.
Okay. Thank you. Your Honor, with that, I don't have any other questions for this witness.